It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio today. We're sitting down with the Verde Valley Sanctuary's Community Development Director, Tracey McConnell.
Hello.
Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you.
It's been many years since I've had you here with me. Website for you, verdevalleysanctuary.org is the website you want. If you're going to need help, if you're a victim of domestic violence or
sexual assault, or human trafficking,
there is a 24/7 helpline, and I'll give this number out multiple times during the show, 928-634-2511. And then if you want to get a hold of Tracey, her number is 928-282-2755. So let's jump into it. Yeah. Verde Valley Sanctuary. We've got the first thing is the mission. What is the Verde Valley Sanctuary? Let's start there.
Well, what we're here to do is enhance the safety and increase the services for survivors of sexual and domestic violence and end additional abuse through community education. So we have a tall order.
Yeah.
This is a daily mission that we take on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, we were talking before the show, and I remember when the pandemic started in 2020.
Right.
That within a few months, 3-4 months into that, I noticed that there was a story that came up that domestic violence was on the rise.
Yeah.
Because people couldn't get away from people.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that does the abuse in the house is now stuck in the house all the time.
Right.
Which I can't imagine being the victim of something like that, knowing that, oh my gosh, this man or this woman is going to be in the house 24/7. I'm going to be in trouble all the time. Horrible things are going to happen to me all the time. That would be such a burden.
It's a huge burden, and you become entrained in that kind of abuse. And it takes a great deal of sustained courage, is what I'd call that, to consider walking out that door, especially if you have children or you have pets. It's a dangerous situation in the first place. It's even more difficult because of COVID and the isolation that's required.
You said that you were saying before the show that on average it takes a person about 7 different instances before they decide it's time to go.
Right. And
how many should we put up with?
We really shouldn't put up with any.
Right.
If someone's being controlled or abused, that's a reason to call Verde Valley Sanctuary and to learn more about abuse. Sometimes we don't even realize this is abuse.
God, I suppose that's a possibility too, right? People don't even know what's happening.
Well, it can be generational.
Okay.
When you grow up with domestic violence, you attract that oftentimes. And so you're already trained and programmed for that kind of behavior. So for one to say, I could live differently, is a big jump from what they've lived their entire lives oftentimes.
I guess, yeah, if you live in it with it your whole entire life, you just think that this is how life works. You know,
Right.
Mom gets hit.
Yep.
Dad gets this done to him. This abuse is just a normal thing in everyday life. I got to think kids eventually, though, kids eventually go to other households and start seeing differences from their own household.
And we actually educate young people. We have a YES program. It's a Youth Empowerment Services program, and we go to all of the area schools and work with adolescent children to teenagers about what is a healthy relationship. What does that entail? What's harmful in a relationship? Why is kindness so important in a relationship? So all of those things are actually talked about at the schools to prevent or intervene when it comes to domestic violence. So.
How often do you guys do that? At the local
every
schools?
Year, the school administrators and the teachers love having our program officers come into the classrooms on a regular basis. So
the school's contacting you, or do you guys reach out to the schools?
we reach out to the schools every year, but the reception is absolutely fabulous.
Okay. But you're open to the schools contacting you guys and saying,
Absolutely.
hey, we would love to have something like this come in the door.
I'd like to see more of us, more school in Sedona.
Yeah.
For us to be in Sedona as well. But we do cover all of Cottonwood and Camp Verde.
I'll ask you this. Do we have a domestic violence problem in the Verde Valley, or is it just the perfect place to be?
I'm afraid so.
Right. Yeah. That's unfortunate.
So we do an annual survey across all of the 5 law enforcement agencies in the Verde Valley. And the increase in domestic violence has been as high as 138%.
Ooh.
Growth in domestic violence incidents, and the severity of injuries are high as well. So it's climbing, and that is a great deal due to the requirements of what we have to do with COVID-19. And well, COVID, let's just say COVID, because the variant as well. But the isolation that is asked for, and the social distancing, all of those things really shrink the margin of opportunity for a victim or to actually reach out for help safely.
I gotta think so, right? I was telling you before the show, I mean, it's, you're asking them to maybe call this 24/7 helpline.
Yes.
What if they're in the type of relationship where this person looks at their phone every day?
And that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and that's where what I would call a community advocate comes into play, and that could be a friend.
Okay.
That could be a colleague at work. And that a lot of times we don't know what to do or what to say in that circumstance. So what we put together is a friends and family guide that coaches you on what's a safe way to interact with someone who is being abused.
Okay, so if I suspect, let's say I work with you, and I suspect that you're being abused and beat up, and you're just never who you really, I think you should or are, you've got something set up, a program set up that I can take a look at?
You can actually go to our website.
Okay, so I would love to talk to you about this, Tracey, but I just didn't even know. The same thing with drug talks with kids and some of the other talks too. It's like, okay, so how do you approach somebody?
Right.
And ask them, okay? Are you being abused? Yeah.
Right.
How do you approach that conversation?
And there are safe questions to ask in this guide. This is a rough copy of it, but it's large font, it's easy to go through, easy to digest, but really the best things we can do as a community advocate, a friend, is to listen with empathy. Tough love doesn't work with this population. There's so many reasons.
They got enough of that.
Yeah, they get a lot of tough stuff going on.
Yeah.
And to have a friend or a colleague who they're willing to reach out to and share what's going on, tough love just doesn't take you anywhere.
I gotta think that maybe that's kind of the breaking point for some folks too, is that if it's happening to me, and I thought I was keeping it kind of undercover so nobody would know this was happening to me, but then when somebody asks, say, Tracey, are you being abused?
Right.
That could be just exactly what they need to finally break out of that shell and say, yes, I am.
I
need to get out. I need help.
It's that connection.
Yeah.
And that connection comes through trust. And what can you do when you have a trusting relationship with someone who is being abused? So what are things that you can say? What are things that you can do? What resources do you have that you can actually call? You don't have to be in crisis yourself to actually reach out to the Verde Valley Sanctuary and call that crisis helpline. We actually have people who call on behalf of the client to get more information about what kind of resources are available. What about child custody? When I take my children out of this home, what laws do I need to be mindful of? What do I do about the legal ramifications of this?
There's going to be a lot of unknown.
A lot of unknowns.
Right.
What do I do too about finances when my husband controls all of the finances.
Let's take our first break, and let's start up with that right there, because we want to talk about pets and the children and the finances and how Verde Valley Sanctuary can help with all of those things and give you some peace of mind, and just so the abuse ends. That's what we're trying to get to. Verde Valley Sanctuary's Tracey McConnell in studio with us today. VerdeValleySanctuary.org is the website. The 24/7 helpline is 928-634-2511, and then Tracey's number is 282-2755. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Terrifying jobs. Bull rider, take 2. Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Two things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in-ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at C&B Homes.com.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking with Verde Valley Sanctuary's Tracey McConnell today. Again, website is VerdeValleySanctuary.org. The 24/7 helpline. Call it if you need help. 634-2511, 24/7.
Yes.
So when you get a chance and you can, call for help. Let's get you out of that situation. And then Tracey, if you need to talk to her, 282-2755, especially if you want to make a donation.
Yes.
That would be
Yes.
We're going to talk about that too. There's a few things on their wish list that we'll talk about towards the end of the show. Before we do, though, we were talking about things that would keep somebody in an abusive relationship. I've got 2 kids with this person.
Right.
They make all the money. I don't have any money. You guys were smart enough really to think about pets.
Yes.
And we were talking about pets at the beginning. I would never walk out the door without my pets. They would have to come with me. They are my friends. I would want my pets. And it was said that less than 10%. Let's see. What does it say here? Up to 48% of domestic violence victims report that they delayed leaving a dangerous situation because they feared for their pet's safety and knew of no place to take them. That is an interesting thing, and I can understand why somebody wouldn't want to leave, because now you've got the abuser that's at home, you're gone, and your pet's still there. So I'm imagining, I'm going to take out my frustration on this pet.
And in an abusive home, your attachment might actually be stronger with your pets, because they're unconditional love, for you.
They're your lifesaver.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point to make. Yeah, they probably are your lifesaver in many cases. And currently it's estimated that only 10% of all domestic violence shelters nationwide accommodate companion animals. I've got to think that's going to change.
It is changing. It used to be we were one of 5%. So it actually is increasing.
That's
and
good.
With Purina supports shelters creating pet shelters.
Oh.
So some of the organizations that sell pet food, things like that, are actually getting in the game.
They understand that. They understand what needs to be done
Right.
for this sort
They
of
call
situation.
it Purple Leash Project.
The Purple Leash Project? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because purple is actually the color of domestic violence.
Right.
And the ribbon, so.
I know the state lights up the Capitol Dome on Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I believe they light it up purple.
Yeah, that's the color. And
Okay.
sexual assault is actually teal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awful. Horrible things we have to talk about, huh? But the good news is there's a way to get out of it.
Yep.
And you can help. So
Yes.
so if I'm a mother of two and I've got my favorite dog,
Yeah.
I can call you guys and you can get me out of this. How do you get me out of that situation right there?
Well, I think the first thing you can do is give us a call, and that's that crisis helpline. That reaches, that gets you to every type of service that we provide immediately. Someone's going to be on the phone immediately to walk them through getting them ready and keeping them safe while they're getting ready to leave.
Okay.
So we always encourage bringing all your documents that you have for the children, for yourself, as much as possible, to pack all of those up with you as
If I
you
can't
exit.
get to them though,
If you can't get to them,
still get out.
then actually our staff will
Right.
actually help you recreate those documents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are no barriers when it comes to leaving the home, because we have shelter, and that's emergency shelter. You can stay up to 4 months there. In the meantime, they have case management, they have support groups, they have all kinds of, they have kitchen and dining room, you have children's play areas outside and inside. And you have access to legal advocacy. So all of the legal ramifications of having to leave an abusive home can be dealt with immediately.
Therapy?
Therapy you can get as
Definitely,
well.
right.
And we work with, I think, 37 different agencies throughout the Verde Valley area that also partner with us in providing care. So we oftentimes go to Spectrum for mental health care. Now, if they don't have the money or they don't have access to their health care resources, then we have a special fund, and it's called Futures Without Violence Fund. And what it's built for is those types of emergency needs that are barriers for people to leave the abusive situation. And so that could be their vehicle needs repair. They need mental health care. They need new teeth because their teeth have been all broken from abuse. They have childcare needs suddenly that they didn't have before. Enrolling them in school with all of the necessary supplies because they left the home without it.
Would it be safe to say that if I was going to flee a violent person in my life, if I came to Verde Valley Sanctuary, no matter what I needed, you would do your best to make sure that was taken
That's
care of?
absolutely true.
Okay, so that is the Verde Valley Sanctuary's main goal, is to just get them out of the abusive situation, help get back on your
And
feet.
keep them safe.
Keep them safe,
Yep.
back on your feet, and you don't have to deal with that kind of stuff anymore.
Right,
Yeah.
and there's all kinds of modalities for healing as well. The first and foremost is to keep them safe, and our shelter is in an undisclosed location, and it actually has cameras and all kinds of security technology
To keep them safe while they're
keep them
there.
safe.
'Cause,
And
yeah.
the way, and oftentimes an abuser will go fishing at shelters to see if their family's there, and they have a protocol in terms of not claiming that the individual is there, so they keep them super safe with confidentiality, and you can be at the shelter and you can actually access legal advocacy services. You could go to support groups. You can get job assistance. So oftentimes they're going to need to get a job, right? And so sometimes you don't have a background in having a job,
Right.
because that's part of the control.
Right.
So how do you begin that journey? Well, we work with NACOG and Goodwill, and we actually transport them to those resources as well if they don't have their own transportation. If they need an order of protection, that the advocates will actually go with them.
So the
to
legal
get that
process
done.
as well, right there.
So
Wow.
you're not left to do that by yourself. that you actually have support as you exit the shelter for different kinds of services. You have support with you.
All right, let's take our second break. Again, VerdeValleySanctuary.org is the website to go to for information that Tracey and I are talking about this morning. The 24/7 helpline is 634-2511. Tracey's number is 282-2755. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
There is a road laid out for me.
Boxes everywhere. And this is going to be Addie's room.
I am blind,
you're really going to like it.
I hope so. Yeah. I know this road is there for me. There is a love waiting.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Ways down by the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
I got this.
I know it's there for me.
Okay.
If I'm really free, take me down to the river and wash me.
Your carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by Zero-Res. Zero-Res uses state-of-the-art technology and ZR water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on your home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZeroResNorthernArizona.com.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Welcome back to Countywide. It is great to have you with us today. Verde Valley Sanctuary's Tracey McConnell in studio with us today. Again, I will say VerdeValleySanctuary.org is the website, the 24/7 helpline. If you need help, call it 634-2511, or somebody you trust, have them call it for you. And then Tracey, if you need to talk with her, 282-2755. So we have a few wish list things, at least a couple of wish list things here. Now, phase 1 and phase 2 have been accomplished.
Actually, just phase 1.
Just phase 1 has? What was phase 2?
Phase 2 is actually increasing our sustainability. We actually purchased our third thrift store, and that's in Camp Verde. And so we actually have a loan for that building, and that could be expanded in the future.
Okay.
And so we need to pay that off. And then we also purchased the Patriot House, which used to house veterans for affordable housing. And we've turned that into a 6-bedroom complex for individuals who need some time to build their credit and have an attractive portfolio for their own housing.
It's like the final step before you just launch out on your own.
Right.
And you've made it and you're good to go. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so we need to pay those off so that they're much more sustainable. Then our next one is to expand our shelter services. And so that's a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now you've got a 28-bed shelter with a 24-hour crisis helpline. Is that right?
We do.
Okay. 28 beds. Okay. Are you full all the time?
We're full most of the time. Right now our modular had bed lice infestation, which can happen. And so everything had to be removed and cleaned
all that good stuff.
And new stuff put in. So it is just now close to being open again.
Okay.
So we're full in the shelter, but the other modular is actually still closed.
Okay, but it's coming along.
Yes, it is.
And then, okay, so you need $3 million to expand the pet-friendly emergency shelter.
Right.
And you're looking for $1.5 million to obtain a one-stop center for all services, including advocacy-based counseling and safety planning, legal advocacy, and community-wide education and prevention programs. So that's $4.5 million right there.
Right.
And then affordable housing, which is just, we've got like a minute left in the show. Affordable housing is a thing for everybody right now in the Verde Valley. I can't imagine trying to, escape abuse and trying to, get on my feet and have to buy a house. So you're also looking into building some tiny homes for clients who need time to prepare for successful independent living as well. Kind of like the 6-bed house that you have. That would be something like that for it there. So again, if you want to help, donate. 282-2755 will put you in communication with Tracey McConnell. Yeah. Easy as that, right?
Yeah.
Easy as that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we've got everything covered. Again, website is verdevalleysanctuary.org. The 24/7 helpline is 928-634-2511. We'll give Tracey's number one more time here. Tracey McConnell, 928-282-2755. It was good seeing you again.
Thank you very much. It's great seeing you.
Do you need volunteers?
We do.
Okay.
Actually, yes.
Call Tracey and talk about that one as well. Okay. That's today's Countywide. As always, we thank you for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.